Hello, good people. Coming up, I relived my first ever cruise. It was on the amazing Celebrity Apex, and from that experience, I offer 16 tips for first time cruisers. Welcome to Travel Tips and Recommendations with Nikki and Tommie. Our goal is to help you as we pass on any travel tips we have learned from our failures and our successes as we travel the world. I'm Tommie, and with Nikki, we are the Joneses. We were soldiers, but now we're travel advisors and owners of our own travel agency called Jones Getaways by Dream Vacations. Nikki isn't here because she had the honor of attending a wedding in our family. Shout out to Chad and Jordan. Congratulations, and sorry I couldn't be there. And on top of that, she gets to hang out with our daughter, so I feel a certain way about that, but that's okay. Shake it off. Let's go. The scene is I'm in Miami, Florida. It's hot. It's in November, and I'm nervous. Why am I nervous? It's two reasons. One, it's my first cruise, but even bigger is my first time seeing the ocean was when I joined the Army when I was 19. So all that means is large bodies of water where you can't see the land. It wasn't my favorite thing. Hey, I'm from Ohio, so cut me some slack. Why were we sailing? Well, we had an opportunity to attend our first Dream Vacations annual conference. Now, what that is it's a major event hosted by our parent company, Dream Vacations, for its franchise owners. You know, it's for fellowship, it's for travel education, updates, it's for networking, it's for meeting the vendors, it's making new friends and having a good time. That's the bottom line. Now, to what I didn't know. Tip number 1, download the cruise app for your cruise line before you get on the ship. I didn't. These apps are very helpful and very handy, especially with event reminders and making restaurant and show reservations. Tip number 2, the cruise is what you make it. I started out nervous, but quickly noticed that people that are on the cruise ship are there to have a good time. So I made it a point to enjoy the cruise. I mean, it was already paid for and I'm going to be there until it's over, so might as well enjoy it. Tip number 3, the ship is way bigger than you think it is. When I first saw our ship, I was blown away because it looked huge up close. My first cruise was on the amazing Celebrity Apex. It's one of their newest ships from the Edge class series. It holds 2,900 plus people, and that's a good number, especially for my inaugural sail because it wasn't overly crowded. Tip number 4, basic terms you should know. Most of these I knew because of the Army, but the last 2 seemed kind of silly to me at the time. Aft is the rear of the ship. Forward is the front of the ship. Starboard is the right side. Port is the left side. Muster is an identified assembly point on the ship in case of emergency. Ports with an S. It's where the ship docks and where you can get off the ship. Excursions, an adventure you paid for, typically led by a guide. Embarkation, getting on the ship. Debarkation, getting off the ship. Ship time. That is always the same time zone as when you first get on the ship. Sea day. That's when the ship is sailing all day and not going into port. At the time, it didn't make sense. Now, it does. Tip number 5, make sure your bags are marked with your name and make sure that the cabin number they have for you is the same one that you're tracking. Those are 2 ways to make sure that your bags are not misplaced. Tip number 6, you must execute mandatory safety procedures on every ship you get on. Now, why is that a tip? Because we learned about the location and use of life jackets, where the emergency exits were, where our muster stations were, the different alarm sounds and what they mean, and we had to watch a safety video, which is available on the app. Yeah. Tip number 7, find guest services. Guest services is where you go to get major things fixed. For example, lost luggage or inaccurate charges. Tip number 8, explore the ship as soon as you can. There's no need to try to memorize the entire ship because it's too big, but definitely find the elevators closest to your room and then find what you like, the bars, the pools, the restaurants, the clubs, whatever. Tip number 9, find your room and get situated. The only reason this tip is after explore the ship is because our room wasn't ready, and typically they're ready around 1 o'clock. I found out that the key card for our room was our access card for the entire ship, and you have to have it with you at all times. So I recommend you bring a lanyard or be prepared to buy a lanyard so you can keep it around your neck so you know where it is at all times. But once you get to your room, unpack and familiarize yourself with the room. Check the TV because there are a couple informative channels there, and just get comfortable. Tip number 10, you don't need cash on a cruise ship. Your room key is linked to your credit card on file, and that's how you pay for additional things on the ship. Tip number 11, your cruise fare covers a lot. It covers main dining. That's where you always have a reservation to eat. It covers the shows, most entertainment options, fitness center, basic Wi-Fi. Drink packages vary per cruise line, so make sure you check so you know what is free and what isn't. You have some items not included in your fare are mini bars, bottles of wine, specialty restaurants, okay? Tip 12, not all restaurants are created equally. We made a decision to eat at all specialty restaurants on my first cruise. The food was great, but we also heard that the main dining food was pretty good. So, you don't have to eat in specialty dining all the time, but what we end up doing now is we mix them. Specialty dining usually includes a Chinese restaurant, steakhouse, French, Italian, the basic restaurant. Tip number 13, you have options when the ship arrives at different ports. You can go on an excursion, you can just get off the ship and just sightsee, or you can just stay on the ship. Now, I knew those options were available, but I didn't understand them. And now we just do a combination of the two. Sometimes we sightsee, sometimes we have an excursion, whatever floats your boat. See what I did there? Tip 14, enjoy your onboard entertainment. The shows were amazing on the Apex. Some cruise ships have full Broadway type shows. Some just have entertainment teams. But either way, just take time to enjoy some of them. There's definitely going to be a comedy show. Casinos are a real thing. And so just get out there. Tip number 15, verify your room charges the night before getting off the ship. So I bought some things at the gift shop and they absolutely showed up on my card. And if you have issues, once again, go to guest services. Tip number 16, take your luggage off with you, or should you let them take it off for you? It's a decision you have to make. I don't think either decision is horrible, but I know what I prefer. I prefer carrying my own luggage off. Here's why. I only pack a large suitcase, I only pack a backpack, and then carry a bag if there's anything additional. It's easy for me to walk with that and roll it right off. Now, if that's too much or if you pack more, you absolutely can take them off. The first night, what we ended up doing, my first cruise, we ended up letting them take it off. And what we had to do is we had to put our luggage outside our door the night before by 10 o'clock. And then they come around, they take up the luggage, and then they put them in a place. And all you have to do is grab what's left, walk off, check out, and then you'll go down the ramp and you'll see your bags. They'll be on the floor in sections, and you know exactly where you need to go to get your bag. The only thing I can say negative about it is it's a rush for everybody to get their bags, because some people have flights they have to jump off to. Some people are just always in a hurry for reasons or for no reason. And so it sort of becomes like a scavenger hunt, right? And so that's what we did the first time, and we don't do that anymore. Now we carry our own bags off, but it's completely up to you. But those are the tips, the 16 tips that someone that didn't know better, didn't know what they were doing, offers to you, because now I do know better. So I hope these help. Please subscribe to our page as we offer travel recommendations and tips of our vast travel experience. Also, check out our shorts we post as well. Thank you for joining us.